evening, everyone. Today we are having another session with Srinivasan Kalyanaraman sir. So those who are watching it for the first time, I am giving you a small introduction. He is director in Saraswati Research Center and also president of the Ramasethu production movement in India, member of the board of directors of the World Association for Vedic Studies. So I am giving the panel to you, sir. Please continue. If you need anything, I will be in the backstage.
Namaskaram. Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambam Karishyami Siddhir Bhavatu Mesada. It's always a learning process. We have to invoke the blessings of Devi Saraswati. We may commit many faults, many mistakes, but as we go on, learn. It's a learning process. It's an inquiry. The process of trying to acquire knowledge. To understand the nature of the induscript, we have to recognize the important components of the script. The people who made the concordance lists, for example, Askoprapola and Airavata Mahadevan, clearly recognized there were two clear categories of forms and structure of the symbols. Askoprapola called them pictorial motifs, the animals that are there occupying the major portion of an inscribed object, like a seal or a tablet. Airavata Mahadevan called them field symbols. They are major categories of information, symbols. They are symbols of tiger, elephant, rhinoceros, crocodile, buffalo, bison, young bull, and so on. Then there is a second category, we can call them text script or text signs. Both Airavata Mahadevan and Askoprapola call them signs, which are 4 or 5 on every inscription of an object, of an inscribed object. They are normally on the top line of the field symbol. I think it will be correct to state that both the field symbols and the so-called signs or text script symbols are pictorial, pictographs. Both are pictographs. One is a major pictograph like a bull or a bison or a buffalo, which occupies a major portion of the inscribed object. Second is these so-called signs, which are known like a fish, like a swastika, like a pot, like a river pot. Some kind of a graphical structures, strokes, long strokes, short strokes, slanted strokes. So these are the shapes of thought. That is the writing system which is trying to convey some message. The thinking process, the thought process of the scribe has to be related to the time to which he belonged. It's very clear from the archaeological framework that the age was a metals age, emerging from a copper age, emerging from the stone age, into a system where they were working with fire altars, working with varieties of sources. So we have found evidences for bronze objects, iron objects, and metalware, implements, and so on. From a number of sites, we have about 2,600 archaeological sites, as you can see on the map the background. Most of them are on the river Saraswati. Quite a few are on the river Sindhu. So we call it the Indus Valley civilization, or the Sarasvati-Sindhu civilization, or Saraswati civilization. The civilizational framework also indicated archaeologically that some kind of a trade contact that was taking place, usually riverine waterways and the ocean waterways. So there was a maritime traffic that was evident. There are also indications archaeologically and the cuneiform texts, which are really well deciphered, that there was a trade that was taking place between the so-called Meluha and Mesopotamia, Anatolia, in places like Mali, Susa, Anatolia. Now, let us take a look at the structure of the writing system. As we see, there are two major resources for decipherment. The first resource is script graphemes. There are 58. Possibly it could be 400, it could be 300, it could be 700. So different ways of looking at one particular shape of symbol, which can have some variations. So some people call them variants. Some people call them ligated variations. So roughly the number is very large, the text graphemes. The second component, the second category of resource is field symbols. They are roughly about 100 plus, maybe 150. Let us now take a look at the orthography of the signs and the field symbols. I suggest that the orthography, the shape of the symbol itself, yields some information in semiotics. Semiotics is a discipline for interpretation of symbols. For example, take a look at the so-called graphemes, 958 graphemes, which have been clubbed together, grouped together into these clusters, calling them cryptogram. Okay. And also signs or symbols, aggregators. That's a device of modifying the basic sign, like a fish, for example. Fish gets fins, fish gets a lid on top, fish gets surrounded by a circumscript of 4 short strokes. Fish accompanied by a bird is put into the circumscript. So the fish itself can also be a part of the object itself. A huge object, like a fish, with the eyes of the fish very clearly shown, and then 2 fins emerging out of the back of the fish, the tail of the fish. But one thing is very clear: short space of a tablet or a seal, which is about 1 centimeter, 2 centimeters, 3 centimeters, about 1 inch, maximum about 2 inches. The is extraordinary precision in orthography. So the precision exhibited in the form of a sign or field symbol can very clearly be seen in the idea of the unicorn. Look at the picture of the unicorn. We call it a field symbol in front of the field symbol, which is a standard device. See, there is a horn which is forward thrusting and spiny. Very clear. Which is a very unique way of representing a horn or the bull, or it could be a goat. and the ear is very clearly shown. And on the shoulder of this animal, there is a pannier, there is a sack. So this is the components of information conveyed on the unicorn. There are all rings on the neck sometimes. In front of it is the standard device, which has got two components, top part and bottom part. Top part looks like a lathe, turning lathe. Sometimes it looks like a basket. The bottom part is like a turning container or like a portable furnace with some smoke emanating. And it is also decorated dotted circles sometimes. And the whole structure is held by a stand, like a black staff. In some inscriptions, the stand is carried in a procession, like in Mari Lake or in the Indus script. There are two jar signs. One is a rim jar, rimless part, sign 328. There is a sign 342, but there clearly or rim of the jar is sought to be shown. So this precision in orthography. So we cannot ignore the fact that sign 342 is a rim of a pot. So the pot is 28, but 342 is pot with a rim vessel, rimmed jar. It's very clear. In fact, in some inscriptions, the rim is given a very important orthography, very significant orthographical representation. I have taken these pictures from the source I have given, indusscript.net, which calls some glyphs. This web page of the IndusScript clusters about 958 graphemes into 22 Devanagari alphabet phonemes. A, E, As, Ka, Ga, etc., treating them as alphabets. So when he looks at the alphabets of Devanagari, there are only about 20 or 30 or 40 basic alphabets. So while explain the 958 graphemes, so you cluster them as allographs. So the sound A has so many allographs, top line. Sound Ka has so many allographs. Sign Ma has more than about 10 allographs. Like that, Ya has got about 4 allographs. Ra has got 4 allographs. And Sha, Sa, Sha has 9 allographs. So even the short strokes, the backbone symbol, or lid or lid symbol, are all treated as allographs of the sound Sa, Sha, Sha. This is how the cryptogram is thought to be organized, treating the entire writing system related to the test script as only alphabets of Devanagari. As you can see, M phoneme is signified by 10 allograph signs. Come on, these allographs, how can they be called allographs? Oh, they have got the same sound? Why is this script writer choosing extraordinary precision in creating symbols which are very distinct? One is a fish symbol, and something looks like a hill or a triangle, or something that looks like about 2 rectangles with tails, then something that looks like a palm squirrel, and one straight line with a lid on top, and then with a ligature, like a bandage, or another sign which seems to superimpose the rim of a part on top of another sign with that slash. Then another looks like a M, then another looks like an animal with a small short tail. How can they be called other graphs? Usually the same sound, but okay, let's assume that it's all valid. But then this entire process of focusing only on the text script ignores the field symbols and the pictorial motifs. That's the problem with clustering 958 plus symbols, 958 graphemes into this 28 plus alphabets. So, treating the 10 symbols designed with orthographic precision as allographs ignores the information yielded by the ligatures and the fine shape of the symbol. The orthographic features of symbols are very important and their functions. They have got a function to perform. So, in many scripts, we have got what are called circumscripts, superscripts, which become ligatures. So because these functions are ignored, this precision in orthography is ignored, the decipherment becomes falsified. Okay? Next, please. Now, take a look at this remarkable tablet. There are about 10 tablets in bas relief with the same inscription. But there is one important feature about this text script. There is also an indication that a part of the horn of the unicorn is shown. So in this case 69, you can see there are text script sign symbols and also the part of a field symbol of the unicorn. So clearly the scribe is trying to indicate that the unicorn is intended plus the text script. So your unicorn seal was used from the mold shown on the right side to create these tablets. The unicorn is clear and the script is clear. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 symbols of the text script plus the unicorn. What is the unicorn? Is a young bull. We have seen in the previous slide. Kotiya, Kotri in Tamil. Kodiya in Telugu. Bull. According to lexicons, both Tamil and Telugu lexicons. A similar sounding word, Kotiya, signifies a seafaring trade vessel. It appears that the unicorn field symbol is an indicator of a seafaring vessel. So some activity is going on using seafaring trade vessel. And now, and this young bull is signified by the one horn, which is singing, tiny horn, forward thrusting horn, or singing in Santali. The word is which means so use famous pictographs as Champollion for the Eastern hieroglyphs. We find that the unicorn one horn signifies ornament gold. So ornament gold on a seafaring trade vessel. Ornament gold work using the turner, the leg, and so on. It's Rameshwaram in front of the unicorn. Thus, text script relates to the work of an ornament goldsmith, a jeweler. The qualifying trade vessel may be a single-masted vessel like the one horn of the unicorn. It could be Ekasinga, Ekasingi for thou, with a single mast. A single mast seafaring vessel perhaps used for holding these ornament gold. Now we'll see the next slide for reading the seafaring vessel as Tangaram. Okay, next slide, this one. Now, Kodia is young bull, is Kodia seafaring trade vessel with single spiny horn, rebus, singy ornament. So, seafaring trade vessel, ornament gold. Because the trade vessel carries a cargo. So, the Kutiyam is probably related to the Goshta word in Sanskrit, Goshta. Kotiyam is a bull, an ox, young ox, young bull, Koti. Kotiyam in Malayalam is a bull. In Gujarati, Godiyo, young bull, similar sounding, cognate word. With pronunciation variant. Potri in Tamil, young calf. In Pingala Nigantu, Ilang Kandru, possibly Ilang Kandru, young calf. So, you know, orthographically, young unicorn is distinguished from the bull because the unicorn is a young bull, whereas it could be an older bull with short horns. Is signifying the bull or ox or bison. Kotram is victory. Kotia is the thou. Manam Kotram is victory or success. It's in Tamil also in Kannada, same meaning, heroism, bravery. So when the seafaring vessel was constructed, significant victory was achieved by the artisans in creating an ability to use the river waterways, the ocean or maritime trade. So it was a breakthrough in civilizational activity. So the Kotti, Kodia, Kodie in young bull, Rebus, Kotia, thou is a seafaring vessel. The thou word itself may be related to the Prakrit word thou oars. Initially, these thous, seafaring vessels, carry oars, minerals as they are, for extended trading activity. Transported for maritime trade on Kotia sailing vessel. They could carry even up to 20 tons. Some larger dhows could carry up to 500 tons. Dhau, Prakrit word, is equated with dhatu in Sanskrit, or a certain soft and red stone, according to Marathi. Dhau, or Nepali. Dhauya in Prakrit, or Dhatu Vada in Sanskrit. There is art of obtaining metals. As is mentioned in the Vivida Tirtha Kalpa, Jina Prabhu Suri, 13th century. So that is the lexical literary evidence for the Dhatuvada. Singing, as we know, seen, is a forward thrusting spiny horn in Santali. Similar sounding word, rebus is Singi ornament gold. Singi or Eka Singi is a one-masted sailing vessel. So when we see the unicorn as a resource, a pictorial motif or field symbol, we can very clearly say that it relates to some kind of a cargo activity on a seafaring vessel, Ekastingi. This cargo vessel is a carrier to transport food and other essential requirements. You can see some pictures of the Ekastingi and also with multiple sails. The sailing vessel traffic on west coast of India and its featured by Vaidya KB, 1945, has given incredible amount of details of vehicles, Kotia, also known as Ganja, with the concrete word in Arabic. So the unicorn with the one horn is a stand, and also the standard device has got variety of variations, as you can see on this. Ekashringa is having but one horn, unicorn. Ekashringa is also a Rishi Shringa in the tradition of India. A recluse, Kinga Jataka, mentioned in the 2nd century Mahapragna Paramita Shastra. Accordingly, King of Varanasi was angry and worried. He commanded his ministers to meet and discuss the matter of the rain. Because there was a drought situation. So he heard somehow that there was some person called Rishi Shringa who can come and produce rain. He was a wise man. He was in Hermit's mountain. He was called a Ekashringa, a recluse person. Because of his clumsy feet, he fell and by climbing, fell down. At that time, he became angry and he was able to give a magical spell, commanding it to stop raining for 12 years. That's how the message is created that the rains had stopped. A serious situation that occurred, which required the presence of a Shishringa to remedy the problem. So there's a Yuan Sang relates that is a place of hermitage of Ekashringa at the foot of the mountains of Swat. Next please. Now let's get back to the Kalibangan inscription, which also had the unicorn, signified by the one horn on the tablet. There are duplications of signs. The duplication of the standing person, duplication of the 12 short strokes, very clearly, and also almost a duplication of the bow. One is a bow, another is a bow and arrow. And the arrow also is duplicated by imaging duplication. And there's a short 2 strokes, which is Dula to Dul metal casting. So each of these lines can be read. They seem to relate to metal casting of copper, gold, iron workshop of a blacksmith. Kamari is the declivity. The arrow shown on the bow and arrow symbol is Kamari declivity, Kamari working of a blacksmith. The bow is Kamata, Kamadu, is for bamboo, Kamatum in Gujarati. The similar sounding word is Kamata in Konkani, called workshop. So workshop is signified by bow and arrow. The root arrow is signified with the word mind. The similar sounding word is rebus, med. And the two mirror imaging is so two similar sounding word rebus, dul, metal casting. The dul metal cast iron. It could be by seroprodive technique also. Then the 12 short strokes are arka, 12. Similar sounding words arka, copper, gold. Then when it gets duplicated, the 2 rebus, dul, metal casting. Thus copper, gold, metal castings. Then followed by 2 short strokes. Ligature, sign 99, Sal splinter, 2 strokes, reverse, Sal workshop. So, metal casting workshop. Now, the body of the symbol 1, sign 1, Kannada, 2 legs spread out. Atharvaveda says 2 legs spread out is Karnaka. Reverse word is Karnaka, announcement. Dula, 2, Dul metal casting. So, this metal casting, cast metal, assigned to supercargo. Supercargo responsible for the cargo in the ship. So, this is the message conveyed by the Kalibagan inscription, which gets repeated in about 10 tablets. Same message with a unicorn. Next, please. Now, let's look at this one-horned young bull. This is absolutely fantastic orthography. Here you can see a young bull in front of the standard device. On top of it, there is a pot which is overflowing. So it is a clear visual language. Graphic. Which is very different between a sign and a field symbol. Is the pot or an overflowing pot a sign or a symbol or a pictorial motif? Is unicorn a pictorial motif? The standard device pictorial motif. What is the message being communicated by this inscription? So every one of the components has got to be clearly recognized as a pictograph. There's a pot, overflowing pot. Low is overflowing. Kanda is a pot. Together, low kanda, overflowing pot is low kanda metal implements. Marathi. So metal implements are sort of indicated by the overflowing pot. Now let us look at unicorn. So a number of components very clearly indicated by the orthography. There are depressions, should have been covered with some kind of fine red pigment possibly, or even some precious stones to show the pannier of the devil sack, the belly of the animal, the tail of the animal, and the throat of the animal, and one horn, one ear, and the standard device is the top leg, bottom container, turning container. So every one of these components of the pictorial visual language presentation of this inscription, this is what I have tried to attempt. Tanga is thigh. Similar sounding tanka is mint, stamped coin. Antala is double bag, or pannier. Antal means maritime. Antala means boat. Then belly, peta, pata. Similar sounding is pada, patade, metals manufacturing. Then it could be a goat face or a young bull's face. If it's goat, mlek, mleka, or mlek mukha, the face of the goat. Similar sounding, lecha mukha is copper. Car, blacksmith. Singin, forward thrusting, spiking on. Singi, ornament gold. If it's young bull, konda, young bull. Similar sounding, konda, circular hamlet, mojar guild. Now, if it is a kotia, now the manji center can be signified by the belly. Similar sounding word is manji cargo boat with a raised platform. So the unicorn with his belly being focused, it could be seen as a cargo boat with a raised platform. Maji or boat. Then on the right side is some ivory which has got duck on top of the ivory stick. Vartaka is a duck. Silver sounding word Vartaka means a merchant. So merchant. Now let's standard device. Mahadevan clearly recognized parts of the standard device. Top part, bottom part. But they are joined together to create the standard device. Joined together, a body of parts is called Sangada. Sangada means joined body part of two or more parts of animal parts or other parts, equipment parts. Similar sounding word is Sangayo. Military guard in Gujarati, it means a military guard accompanies treasure into the treasury. Same meaning is given in variant pronunciation of Malayalam. Sangadam is a convoy guard, responsible lawyer, guide through a foreign territories. Another word which is a similar sounding is Sanghata, Jangada, Jangala, a maritime double canon. Jangat, go boat, Kamaran. Another meaning for the word Jangat is invoiced on role basis. A very remarkable accounting system which has been recognized in law. Now the bottom part of the joint structure is Kantala, churning vessel. Kantala is maritime boat. Then the top Kunda, Kundan, fine gold. So we are dealing with ornament gold, fine gold, cargo boat, sailing vessel, and the indications of some kind of a mint activity related to this seafaring vessel cargo. Lokhanda metal implements. This is the message conveyed by this M1656 fractal. Could have been worn on the neck like a pendant by the owner of this. Next, please. Now we see the evidence of a boat, the static seal of a boat, 1029, which is a sailing boat with oars, with a raised platform, manji, oxide-shaped copper alloys, Jagada boat can be seen on the right, on top. And also there is a boat that is shown on a Mohenjo-daro tablet with two palm trees, which also signify as pictorial motifs. Our palm tree, date palm in Hebrew. The sounding word is Tamra, copper. And the two signs indicate oxide-shaped ingots. So copper ingots, possibly tin ingots, and two birds are shown of a sailing boat. This is the pictorial information we have got from this 1429 and this tablet of Mohenjo-daro. 1429. Next, please. Transoceanic trade of Bharatam has been well documented. There is indicated Satavahana period, 2nd century Common Era, and Pallava coins of 6th century, National Museum, Delhi, showing the two masted ships. And also a terracotta model of a single Ekachinga vessel, a cargo boat. So I have given the detailed recorded the excellent work by Shri Srivastava and Dr. Chudamani and the Gopal about the agents of commerce in pre-colonial Kannada. Scientific Research, Volume 5, Issue number 2, about the transoceanic trade from the western coast of India, from the before the 2nd millennium, before Common Era. From the archaeological point of view, there are several indications about the antiquity of trade between India and Egypt for numerous products, but there is not of evidence. But there are indications. There is a memory. Next, please. Now we can see the Portuguese Jangada, Malayalam Sangadam. Jangada is a Portuguese, is a traditional wooden sailing raft. The triangular sail used primarily in the northeastern region of Brazil. Jangadeiros are the fishermen who sail Jangada. The Portuguese first encountered a smaller type of long boat called a jang or Jangada. When they came to Brazil in the 15th century, the Jangadian is traditionally built from the 6 logs or thick wooden beams held together with dowels and fiber rope. The 2 wooden benches stand on the logs. The front one, which stands in the middle of the raft, supports the mast. On the skipper's bench in the stern sits the person who steers the Jangada with an oar. A center table in the middle can be regulated in depth. The triangular sail, a variant of the Latin sail, is typical of the Jangada and enables cruising against the wind. All parts of for the Jangada are handcrafted. Mast, sails, ropes, nets, hooks, anchors, and the Sambura catch basket. This is a one sail Ekasingi. Next, please. So Jangadio is a double canoe, Jangada. It's also a military guard. In Tamil, call it Sankanam. In Portuguese, it's Jangada. Ferry boat of 2 canoes with a platform thereon. Rettai Todi, Sangadam, kind of boat. Sanguvadam, Portuguese Jangada. Malayalam, Sangadam, ferry boat. Todi. Jangal, a platform with railings placed on the 2 boats. It was there at ferries. There is a Kannada, Tulu, Marathi, Portuguese Jangada. Marathi float composed of 2 boats bound together. So joined together, Rangada. Composed of 2 canoes or boats bound together. Also link of 2 pompons or 2 swimmer float by. A body form of 2 or more boats is Sangada. So you can create a device, you have a leg and a bottom. By using this principle of Sangada, a body formed of 2 or more fruits and etc. Sangada is a skeleton or a box or a frame of a building, a boat, body, etc. They all apply to huge and unwieldy. Sangada is also a skeleton or a frame. The hull or a Bhushan School Dictionary in Marathi. So Sangada is a link of 2 pompons, swimmer float by union of logs joined together, double planks joined together. Next, please. Now, let's now take a look at the shapes of thought. Now look at the number of signs that have been found. Each is a clear symbol. They cannot be treated as just only numbers and then say, oh, they are numbers. They are not numbers. They are numerical words. So we have got 1, got 2, then 2 are used like a ligature at top, then 1 like a notch, then 3 short strokes, medium strokes, then 3 long strokes. So clear orthography. For example, the 3 long strokes are joined with a tail at the bottom, or with the symbol of a rice plant. In the bottom 2 symbols you can see. And there also a count about 7 strokes, 8 strokes, 4 strokes, 3 strokes, and so on, and 12 strokes. So now, the counting of the words, if it is 3, we must count it as 3. And taken by the word 3 of the speech of the person who wrote this shapes of thought. Next, please. How can we treat them as allographs? They are very distinct numbers. They are very distinct counted. And the counting is also ligature to the top. The platform is kept on top, or they are kept within parentheses. So when the scribe is taking such incredible effort to indicate very clearly, he is trying to convey some meaning. That information cannot be lost by treating them as allographs. That has got the enclosed number of strokes must be explained together with the enclosure. Whether it is a parenthesis or double parenthesis must be explained. Similarly, if the 2 strokes circumscribe one particular symbol, both these 2 strokes and the circumscribed symbol must be explained. Then the shape of the stroke itself can be slanted, must be explained. A slanted stroke cannot be equated with a straight stroke. They are distinct. Then a slanted stroke, which also like a ligature or like a slice. And there is a linear stroke with some lid on top, distinguished from an arrow, which is like a triangle joined with a long stroke. So arrow is distinguished from this particular sign, which is a straight one stroke, linear stroke with a lid on top. So like this, the ligature has got to be given great importance. The shape of orthography of the particular writing system, symbol, must be respected. For example, take a look at the bottom line. We have got one standing person. We also got 2 standing persons. Both must be explained individually, distinctly. So 2 standing persons, 1 standing person. Then 1 symbol which almost looks like a standard device. Then 1 standing person with this notch between his legs. 1 standing person with a platform attached to his belly. 1 standing person with a lifted arm. They have all got to be explained. They cannot be ignored as same allographs. They are distinct symbols. So the orthography has got to be respected in the process of decipherment. So if you have got 958 symbols like this, every one of them has been explained with reference to the orthographic feature used in the writing system. Okay, so it will be a cop-out to cluster them together as allographs and give them some kind of a phonetic equivalence of an alphabet. It's wrong. It's a falsified decipherment. Next, please. You can go through the same way. Look at this. There's a standing person. There's a standing person with a circumscript of 2 strokes long linear strokes. A standing person with a notch emerging from his left shoulder, and another standing person with a slash or notch emerging from his legs, from the waist. Then there's a standing person with 2, almost like a horn on his head. Another, the next horned person enclosed by parenthesis, right side, parenthesis left side, next side. Standing person, a warrior-like person with the horns, enclosed by 2 flowing lines. The flowing lines are also important. They have got to be explained. So that's why I'm saying these standing person symbols cannot be treated as orthographs. Every one of the components of this, each symbol, a person holding a rimless pot, it also got a ladle inside, A person holding both a rimless part and some kind of oval sign like a dot. A person holding a ingot with an inside ingot. A person almost standing on top of two spoked wheels. Spoked wheels, and the person must be explained. Then the person holding a rhombus sign, the ligature. A person holding some kind of a sign. A person holding some kind of tongue or pincers, and two persons carrying some kind of a load indicated by a triangle. A person ligated with standing person ligated with the bow and arrow on the left side, on the right side. Two bows and arrow of the same standing person. These are distinct mechanisms where the information is sought to be conveyed very precisely. So this orthography of the rating system cannot be ignored in any process of decipherment. So there's some main information is there. That information should not be lost, which it is with allographs. Then one person is holding arrow, and the same person holding the arrow between his legs, and one person holding some kind of a tail, like E-like thing, like a tail. Then one person holding some kind of a scratching device. This have got to be explained. A very single picture, a very single pictorial component of a symbol must be explained. You cannot treat them as holographs. Okay. Next, please. Look at this. Incredible amount of information sought to be conveyed. Take for instance the second line, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, where the person is carrying some two bags, something like water carrier. Water carrier has to be explained. He is not only a standing person. A standing person carrying some water in two bags. Then the standing person topped by the rim of a jar. There are two distinct symbols are joined. So the same principle of joining that took place in the standard device or the unicorn, which where one horn attached to the head of the young bull, same principle of joining takes place on these symbols. So two symbols are joined together, a man, standing person, or a stature, or a rupa, a shape, figured with, superscripted with a rim of a jar. So what I am submitting is every one of these components of the symbol, 950 symbols, must be respected because it contains information. If that information is lost, decipherment is lost. Okay? Now look at this third line where the person water carrier, let's call him a water carrier, is also superimposed with rim of a jar. So rim of a jar plus water carrier. Both joined must be explained. What is sought to be conveyed? Whatever the language. Now we have got to pin down the language that is used by the scribe and the organ to communicate messaging system. Okay, next please. Now let us look at the other images. They're so clear. Now look at the first line. There are insects. They look like ants, or they look like some kind of a attached to some kind of pincers. So it could be an ant, it could be a wasp. We have got to distinguish and try to make a meaningful decipherment. The ant plus an insect, or ant and a wasp, or it could be some kind of a weaver, Then take a look at the so-called fish sign, famous fish sign. Incredible amount of variations on the fish sign. Two fishes together, fish sign together, fish within a circumference, parenthesis, look, fish within a parenthesis, and little tooth added on top. Fish within two straight lines as a circumscript. And two linear strokes and a small little tooth. Then two strokes together becoming circumscript in the bottom line. Then four short strokes on the fish. Then fins signified in the next side. More fins on the right side. So these have got to be explained. So fish just as Meena and left there. No. Why is the author scribe using the orthography to signify very precise addition modifiers? The modifiers are be explained. That's why who compiled this into concordance lists, who created the corpus of inscription, both Usko Purpura and Hieroglyph Mahadevan, give them distinct sign numbers. These sign numbers of the pictographs or the signs or symbols are distinct messaging systems. That information cannot be lost by treating them as holographs. Next, please. Okay. For example, the ant sign or a insect sign can also again get modified like a bat. Or again a fish sign with the top. If you sign with a little drop enclosed by four short strokes. And then with four fins and so on. So each of these ways has to be explained, just as in the case of the bird or in the case of the palm squirrel. Palm squirrel tagged to one short, one linear stroke. Or like this. Birds of different kinds. Birds with split tail, forked tail. So the fork-tailed bird is to be distinguished from other birds. Then bird within parentheses. So each of the orthographic features must be respected in any process of decipherment. Next, please. Now we go through this. Now there are structural features. Now, for example, in line, you find like a fringe of a cloth, or like from in the weaving loom brought down, or things together. They're all distinguished in the second line, third line. Then in one case, they're all to signs. Then simple structures like the H sign with two linear strokes joined by a horizontal sign. Then variants of that. Then something that looks like about four legs linked to a linear stroke joined together. So what I'm submitting, orthographic care, tribe to respect. Next page. You will go through 958 signs, 958 symbols. This. The second sign, second line. There are clearly an animal is sought to be normalized into science. An animal with a short tail. The animal with a short tail becomes a sign. So the animal with a short tail must be explained. What is an animal? What is a short tail? Same thing goes for the other structures. For example, even an oval is superimposed with the rim of a jar. It's a ligatured sign. Or like a flag sign on the bottom row, we get a flag sign. Or we get a bead with a thread. Bead with a thread. Or like a bud of a flower. So now what is it? What's happening in these symbol systems? The flora and fauna and the economic part with which tribal familiar are used. The bud of a flower, or an animal, or a pot, or rim of a pot are sort of used as signs. So what word was it when you spoke about those symbols or those objects, those fauna? What was it? What was using it for? If those words can be identified from the lexicons, we'll be able to identify similar sounding words from the same lexicon to get the message. Next, please. Next, please. Okay, now look at this. Flora, the leaf, the famous leaf, the Ficus religiosa, is a very important symbol. In some cases, it doesn't show the strands of the leaf, the strains of the leaf. Then there's a symbol that looks like a rice plant with variations, with ligatures. Then a rice plant linked to some kind of a E sign, like a currycomb sign, duplicated. Then tile attached to currycomb. Then a sprout or a bud, a short tile. So very clear distinctions ought to be made between the sprout, the plant, the straw, and so on. Same thing applies on two arrows enclosed within two short strokes, two linear strokes, and so on. Then four plants coming out of the water in a watering field, watery field. Next, please. Next, please. Yeah. Now, look at the top line. Four plants from watery field. There are variations of this. So you can call them variants, but you can call them also signs. And there is and like a adds sign, two adds together. One adds with a slash, and then flow of water will be sign. Three triangles joined together. Three triangles. And
Sir, looks like your internet is not good, sir.
Fountains in a range.
We are having some issue with
What's
internet.
happening here?
Hello.
Okay. Yeah. It's okay.
Your internet is not stable, sir.
You are not continuing. We can continue tomorrow next session if necessary. Okay.
Yes, sir. We can
So
continue in the
what I'm
next
trying to
session.
yeah, sure. What we are trying to say is, I am submitting that the orthography of the symbol system must be respected. We'll go to the next session. Slides and all the motifs. And we'll read the paragraph in the next session. Thank you very much. Namaskar.
Thank you very much, sir. We will continue the next week at the same time, 7 o'clock
Yeah,
on Saturday.
from where we stop, from there we'll continue.
Yeah, sure, sir. We will continue from there only. Today it seems like we are having some internet issues, so we are discontinuing for
No
now,
problem.
and we will continue in the next week.
Yeah,
Thank you very much, sir. Have a great day.
Namaskar.
Namaskaram.